low. I'm trying to figure out how far can I move with this slide. I tend to walk a lot, so I just want to make sure I'm not going to fall over. Well, thanks so much for inviting me. How's everybody doing? Doing good? Well, start eating quickly because I'm going to do a workshop with you immediately, starting from slide 2 or 3 over here. Well, you'll be able to participate and help me out. My name is Elatta. I'll be your presenter for today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a quick background. I think I know a lot of people here. But I'll introduce you to myself, and then we'll get talking about requirements elicitation and stakeholder analysis. So I actually come from a technical background. So I've been a software engineer and developer for several years. I was an architect for Omnium Wide Proprietary Technologies for other companies, both on the Java side and the .NET side. When I started to teach developers how to develop in Java. I taught .NET classes, service-oriented architecture. So how did this happen? How did I convert over to, in a way, the non-technical project management software, requirement side? Well, to be very honest, I was in a lot of projects where we had really excellent developers and technical resources, but the projects would still be challenged and still not deliver on time or still not deliver exactly what the customer wanted. Anybody been on projects that don't deliver on time or not exactly what the customer wanted? I just want to make sure I wasn't alone. Okay, good. So what happened is this, as I started to kind of evaluate what was going on, I realized there was really big major problems with the process from a project management perspective, the methodology that we were using. I started to feel unease with only delivering requirements and getting feedback at the very end of the project. Any of you still delivering requirements and getting feedback at the end of the project? Raise your hand. Getting customer feedback towards the end. Okay. So something didn't feel right about that to me. I just felt like, God, if we could just get some earlier feedback, we'd get way less bugs. So that was a big problem. And I fell in love with Agile and Scrum about, I think it's been 7 years now, and decided that this is, all the ideas that were there were a lot of the best practices that I had believed in, which was about collaboration, people working together, light documentation. We had stacks of documentation before that nobody read, so we keep that a secret sometimes. But I was finally happy I found a methodology that embraced light and valuable documentation. The other biggest problem that I found on projects was really related to requirements. It was, I can't tell you if we can figure out the percent of issues that really relates back to requirements. It has nothing to do with, did we document them fully? No, it was so many other things, and that's why today we're going to talk about stakeholder analysis and why it's so important to know who your stakeholder really is, who are the real users. So that's just a little bit about me. Here's what we're going to cover today: challenges with requirements, understanding some of the levels of requirements and how I think people talk over each other when we're talking about requirements. Designing a process for stakeholder analysis, analyzing your stakeholders, and then actually understanding the problem domain. So I teach a whole requirements gathering class where we go through multiple phases until the end. This is really all around visioning. When you're first getting started on a project, the visioning phase, that's kind of where we're focusing right now, and hopefully in some future sessions we'll be able to cover a little bit more. So you've got post-it notes, maybe even at least one, and you do have a marker on your table. Here's what I'd like you to talk about for just about a couple of minutes. What are the major challenges that we have on our projects that commonly are associated with requirements? What are the biggest problems? And I want major ones, ones that would cause either project failure, delay, or unsatisfied customers, unsatisfied users. What are some of these things that you have faced? Here's what I want you to do. I'd like one person in the table to volunteer and be the scribe for the table. That person will go ahead and pick up one of the markers and the post-it note, and then just have people randomly in the table give you 2, 3, 4 ideas, and jot one idea per post-it note. Can you guys do that together again? Can I have somebody from this table, whoever wrote down the notes, volunteer to come up? Can I get somebody from that table over there, please? This table over here in the middle. Table way back there. And this table over here in the middle, right over there. Do you want me to? Come on up. Come on up. You just volunteered, sir. Alright, so just real quickly, if you don't mind, read me what you guys decided. If I could pull this. Actually, if you don't mind, come closer to me over here, because I don't think we both want to fall.
Yeah. We have availability of customers for gathering requirements. Customers don't know how to get requirements. And then knowledgeable resources.
Go ahead, post it up. Thank you.
understand their roles, lack of accountability, lack of ownership, they have the wrong speakers, lack of time for research, and lack of testing.
I got a lack of libraries. I tell you. Yeah, very good.
Okay, we had defined expectations from stakeholders that are kind of missing some things, as well as interpretation of requirements.
Interpretation. Okay, very good. Come on up, Zero, this side.
We had time limits, indecisions, and wrong SMEs.
The wrong SMEs again. It's a popular one. Did we get everybody? Is that it? Let's get a few more tables. Come on up. Yeah, come on up.
We were on a roll. I think we got to come to one of ours was assumptions, one side or the other assuming they know what is meant. Communication barriers. We're working with a lot of different language groups nowadays, and we don't necessarily understand the words being used by those groups. Interactions of the cross-departmental requirements, so sometimes everybody doesn't play nicely with another department.
Anybody run into that at all? What does that seem?
Cost estimates. We just implement that. People don't take into consideration the costs to implement things. And then, of course, realistic timelines.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Great.
That you need. Okay. Dysfunctional communication patterns. Management gets in the way.
No way.
They're difficult, right? And stakeholders not clear on their vision.
Very good. Last but not least, come on up on this side.
Effect on others not included in the scope, common understanding between the documenter and the user, are all parties available. Not meeting the user, and scope problems.
Wonderful. Excellent list. How good was that? For a 3-minute? Good job. Great job. Give yourself a round of applause. Just as a side note, this was a facilitation technique called the post-it note. It allows you to get, I don't know, how many ideas can you see in front of you here in 3 minutes or less? Do you guys like that? It's a requirement gathering technique that you should consider using. We use it in some of our requirements gathering sessions. All right, how many of you heard information about people, communication, right? People, their communication with each other, roles, right? And then just plain understanding of the system, right? Did you guys hear that? Was that kind of a common theme that you came up with? Obviously, then we have the wonderful timeline problem, which is project management. You know, can't you get it done tomorrow, based on no requirements? So yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you've already kind of mentioned a lot of these. These are some of the challenges with requirements. Limited access to stakeholders, conflicting priorities, customers don't know what they want, change their mind after they do know what they want. Getting the right people to give me the right requirements. Do you guys ever deal with proxies? You can't talk to the real user, but I'll go ahead and represent the user for you. Just get my requirements, you'll be good to go. Missing requirements, jumping into the details early, I cannot tell you how much heartburn I have with this one and how many companies do this one. We will still be envisioning, and people, including technical people, will be in the room and they'll start doing a deep dive. And I gotta explain to you the differences between requirements here. Not thinking outside the current box. So you're telling me to build a house for you, and it's like you've never been on any home shows, and the only house you can ever imagine is the one that you're in right now, right? And so you're like, I don't know, make it look the same as this one, you know, right? And so you're not thinking outside the box. You're not thinking of what could really be better. Too much focus on one type of requirement. So we all get together, and we know that the biggest bang for the buck or the biggest problem is going to be with reports, or XYZ, or membership. That's all we talk about.